We're a little bit behind time because we were taking care of business, so let's have our season of prayer. And Commissioner Bunn is going to do our season of prayer.
If you will, stand, if so inclined, and bow your heads. Our Heavenly Father, I want to thank you tonight for all the wonderful things you have given to us and how you have blessed this county, Lord. And I ask that you be with us tonight as we conduct the business of the county and that it be pleasing unto you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. And we'll start in another couple of minutes. We'll start our meeting.
What about the summer football game last night? You want that? Summer football game. Oh, it went wrong. These are wins. Yeah.
This is what I got.
I enjoyed one of that before. She played all the way to the last shot. Yeah. Red,
I do that.
red. They probably taking us in state.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I hear they're doing pretty good. I haven't been able to keep up with it.
They like the way to get the spring set up.
I like where
Thank you.
Can you go inside door?
we actually got a bunch of that way. You know, otherwise I'm totally.
I don't trust you. I drink it.
Always break it. Straight.
Somebody drinks some.
She worked on me at Ace Hardwood.
That's what it is. Been in there. Yeah. I know they do like hold on. French,
It's time. May I have your attention? I don't have a gavel tonight. They're working on it. So it's okay. I'm going to call the meeting to order. And we're going to have our pledge of allegiance and David, Commissioner Bunn.
All right.
Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, our first item of business is the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we remove item F from this. I have more questions concerning that.
I'll second that.
All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Any other comments on the consent agenda? Okay, and do you have discussion for item F?
Not
Tonight?
tonight. I've
Okay.
got some more research
Okay.
I want to do.
Right, okay. Then, did we just vote? We did vote. We have a motion to remove, that's right, we voted, and a motion to remove item F. So do we have any discussion on that?
No,
No?
I have more research. I want
Okay.
to do.
All approve, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, ayes carried. And now we're going to hear a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So move.
Second.
All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And we'll move to our second, which is comments from the public. This is a time set aside by the Board of Commissioners to allow individuals 5 minutes each to address the board on issues concerning the county. The total time set aside for public comments is 30 minutes. This is dangerous. They just brought my gavel. Okay. Tonight I have enough public comments to last an hour. I'm going to make the decision to let's hear everyone. I will ask you to be 5 minutes or less in order of us to hear that, because we're supposed to do only 30 minutes, because I can make this decision tonight. And looking at the comments that are on here, we do want to hear everyone if we can. There are several people from one area and making the comments on the same topic. I would ask you, if you're making comments on the same topic, if y'all could pick one leader and have one person stand up and speak, if at all possible, then that would shorten a little bit of the time. If y'all could get together and do that, if you know you're speaking on the same topic, that would be nice tonight. We could shorten that hour and not be quite an hour. So our first person, so we'll go a little bit longer tonight, and I ask you all to cooperate. Nakia Hardy, and I believe that's our new school superintendent. We're glad to have you here tonight.
Thank you so much. Good evening, Chair Bragg and Board of the County Commissioners. I am super excited to stand before you this evening. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I will make sure my comments are brief since you have several other comments this evening. As Chair Bragg mentioned, my name is Dr. Nakia Hardy, and I'm proud and honored to serve as your new superintendent for Franklin County Schools. I want to begin by thanking you for your leadership and for the important role that you play in supporting our schools in our community. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the members of the Franklin County School Board of Education that are here, as well as some executive staff members. Please know that as I begin my work here in Franklin County, my first 90 days are intentionally focused on listening, learning, and building relationships. I'm spending time in our schools and the community, meeting with staff, families, parents, partners, to better understand what is working well, where support is needed, and how we can continue to grow together. I believe strongly that the success of our schools and the strength of this wonderful community are deeply connected. Education, workforce readiness, and community vitality truly go hand in hand, and meaningful progress only happens when we can work together in transparency and in partnership. I'm committed to being a transparent leader, a collaborative leader, and being responsible for the resources that we have in this great community, both human and physical resources. More importantly, please know that every decision we make must be centered on what's best for the children that we have the privilege to serve. My goal is simple: listen well, lead with purpose, and work in partnership so that we can together continue to build a strong future for the entire county. I want to thank you in advance for your support of Franklin County Schools and your continued support. I look forward to getting to know each of you and working alongside you. I also would like to share that tonight, the Franklin County Board of Education is also meeting. We're meeting this evening at 7 p.m. So please pardon any interruption that may be caused as our staff and board members need to travel to our meeting. But know it was important for me to have the opportunity to meet you all today and to share with you. Thank you again.
Thank you, Dr. Hardy. Our next speaker is Darren Wilder.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Darren Wilder, and I reside at 32 Wild Acres Drive in Franklinton. I come to you tonight as a concerned citizen. I am concerned about Agenda Item 1G, which appears to remove public involvement in 4 long-standing advisory boards. Those are the Historic Preservation Commission, Economic Development Commission, Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, and the Solid Waste Education Task Force. First, I do not think it is appropriate to consider this as a consent agenda item. A consent agenda groups routine, non-controversial, and procedural items into a single agenda item. These boards provide community involvement, which includes which allows commissioners to communicate and stay in touch with their public. Have these boards been asked to be dissolved? Will these boards be replaced with other public input processes? They are strategic, and I am sure they can be controversial at times. However, a good leader and public servant should possess the skills to negotiate with a team to bring everyone to an acceptable compromise. These negotiations require a lot of effort, but they should not cease or be disbanded as a means to simplify one's work or avoid controversial discussions. Second, I see irony in agenda item 1G, as this board is set for a public hearing to rezone almost 1,000 acres from agricultural residential to residential 8. I cannot see a better time for these committees to be fully functional and active. It was while working with the Economic Development Commission in the Duke Progress Site Readiness Program that I learned the value of bringing teams together to obtain a common goal. I did a little research online and found that both Wakefield, Plantation, and Raleigh and Heritage in Wake Forest are in the 2,000 acre range. I also remember that building Wakefield was projected to be such a drain on Wake Forest's resources that the entire development was handed over to the city of Raleigh for annexation. We are now finding ourselves in a similar growth situation in our county, and at a time when we should be properly assembling our resources and hearing from the public on such huge change, our leadership is cutting them loose. I thank you for your time and attention to my concerns.
Thank you. Our next speaker is David Jarose. Oh, did I say it right? Good. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm David Jarose, 617 Young Forest Drive, 28-year resident in Franklin County. I too am disappointed with the recent decisions concerning several topics, but the first one is the cancellation of the Park and Rec Advisory Board. Physical and mental health of the residents of Franklin County are directly related to encouraging residents to exercise and get connected to nature. Instead of us building more hospitals and mental health institutions, the county should be encouraging preventive measures to keep residents physically strong and mentally awake, just as stated in the Scout Law. Next, Franklin County should be directed by economic indicators that consider the future direction of what this county should be looking like. I've attended many economic development events, saw and heard great plans of how this county could become an economic incubator for manufacturing, but hopefully not at the expense of its agricultural roots. There has been a disturbing trend in this county to promote residential development over encouraging agricultural businesses to persist. What happens when we rely on countries that give us our produce and then they decide to cut us off? What's our backup plan? Which leads to my next concern for this county, water resources. It's unclear to me why residential development is allowed to expand when the infrastructure is not in place yet. Specifically, there's a rumored plan about obtaining water from Carr Lake, thus relying on a neighboring county to provide for the future of Franklin County. Why are the leaders of this county not investing in the future of its residents by building their own water resource that would not only serve as a source of water, but it also would be an economic generator? And on top of that, another destination that Franklin County so desperately needs. I'm going to end my comments with the concern over transparency in this decision-making process. For years, I've received agendas and minutes from all the boards in Franklin County, and now they've mysteriously stopped coming out. I requested minutes for the Water Resource Advisory Board, both verbally and in writing, and received nothing, not even an acknowledgement of my email. I'm here tonight to say that the citizens of this county should be included in all decision-making processes, and these decisions must be part of the public record. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Carl Wakomski.
Good evening, Commissioners. Good evening, everyone. My name is Carl Warkomski. I reside in an unincorporated section of the county between Youngsville and Franklinton. I was appointed to Parks and Rec Committee back in 2021, and I've served diligently since then. As a perennial advocate for recreational assets, I wanted to strongly recommend not eliminating this essential committee. First and foremost, electeds and county staff are insanely busy. They don't always have the needed time to listen to and address the innumerable concerns brought forward by residents and the various user groups. The minutia, everything from shrubbery to signage to tot lot swings, can become overwhelming and are best discussed at a committee level. We act as your geographically distributed, politically neutral, and vetted voice, filtering local interests. We convert and distill the community's passion into definable, actionable recommendations to you. Those time constraints are legitimate. Grants. Grants have become the holy grail of funding parks and recreational assets for rural counties like ours. Many, if not most, state and federal agencies look for evidence of citizen participation. Having a vibrant, active Parks and Rec board shows that projects and programs are community-led, significantly strengthening our application in competitive grants. In fact, many foundations actually require an active Parks and Rec committee, or they won't even consider the grant application. Grants reduce local taxpayer burdens of funding park development. In a nutshell, we function as grant writing insurance. Expertise. Citizens advisory committees like ours serve without pay, reimbursement, or stipend. We consist of educators, retirees, ag sector professionals, sports and outdoor enthusiasts, as well as conservationists and open space advocates. We provide free pro bono consulting and decades of collective experience. In fact, 2 of our board members have advanced degrees that align perfectly with the mission of our committee. Without a Parks and Rec, the county is forced to hire expensive outside consultants to get the same level of insight and direction. We serve as a sounding board to the parks director and help guide her with a collective voice. Continuity. While county commissioners and staff come and go with elections and career moves, our committee members hold on to a long-term foundational vision, buttressed by the Master Parks Plan and members who serve multiple volunteer terms. We retain institutional memory irrespective of the political pendulum. We benefit from our impartial independence. Accountability. Our advisory team help provide a layer of unbiased oversight, ensuring that precious park funds are distributed equitably across the county and across user groups. We endeavor to be a continual non-political voice when so much government decision-making is shrouded in politics. Whatever the reason is for dissolving these committees, streamlining government or eliminating bureaucracy, I would implore you to reconsider. If you think there are significant deficiencies, let's address and correct those together. Let's not abandon an entity that serves a vital and popular community role. Thank you.
Thank you. Sandy Pollock is next. Sandy, okay.
Hi, I'm Sandy Pavlak, 1191 Sagamore Drive in Lewisburg. I'm in the Lake Royale community. Madam Chair, County Commissioners, I would like to thank you for providing me this opportunity to speak this evening. It was disturbing to learn after the January 5th County Commissioners meeting had taken place that Franklin County authorized the county manager to finalize a 3-year memorandum of understanding with the Lake Royale community. Disturbing because I attend almost all of the Lake Royale board meetings and workshops, and being part of the community, That was the first time I heard that Lake Royale contemplated, let alone took action with respect to restructuring the Lake Royale Company Police Department by approaching Franklin County to enter into an MOU where the Sheriff's Department was asked to police Lake Royale. The MOU, an MOU that would be legally binding to all property owners who don't even know about this, didn't know about it till someone saw the minutes and circulated it within the community and on social media. The first announcement to the property owners from the board came on January 8th via email, 3 days after Franklin County made it publicly known that it was in existence. Because we don't know the intent of the board or what the MOU, and went to the January 22nd board meeting, we were told by the board as property owners that this was not going to be discussed with them, not until Franklin County provided the Lake Royale board with an MOU. So we're in the dark. There's been a lot of speculation and a lot of concerns raised. If we don't even know what the issues are, if the issues are hiring qualified officers and maintaining them, could the Sheriff's Department be willing to partner with Lake Royale Company Police in vetting and the hiring process? There used to be a police commission, I believe that, and I know it existed, but I believe it was either oversaw or advised the Lake Royale Property Owners Police Department. What happened to that? Could that be brought back? And then that would help the police department brainstorm, seek guidance from actual law enforcement professionals. Now they report to a 10-member volunteer board of directors that don't have law backgrounds. So understanding why so many of these officers leave, are fired, or pressured to leave under threat of termination would be key. If Franklin County Sheriff's Department is able to review the records and see if there's a pattern. If there were any exit interviews, why are they leaving? Why are there problems? The board in Lake Royale consists of 10 volunteers, 9 hold voting positions. And since Franklin County was approached by Lake Royale, at least 3 board members have since left. So there are 3 new board members on the board, obviously, and then there will be 5 new board positions open in July on the ballot. So that is a substantial amount of board members that initially approached Franklin County on behalf of the property owners, and they did not have any type of town hall questions, concerns. They didn't hear us. So, with the board changing in July, I would suggest if this matter is going to go through, that the property owners be made aware of everything, to be transparent, because we're certainly not getting that locally. And within our board. So I would ask that that be done, and maybe it be prudent to table the matter until a vote can be taken after the new board is installed after July. And then we have 10 new board members who, we've got 10 members, many of which are new board members, and they can look into this matter instead of us being bound by the current board members, many of which who probably are not still on the board since the time that this was brought to your attention, which, I'm not quite sure when that was. We don't know when it was. So I thank you for taking the time tonight. The biggest concern, I guess, is reducing response time. I live on the backside of the lake. It's a good 8 minutes from the gate. We have one entrance to get to me. That could be life or death for people. Our company police, they're trained, EMS, they have the defibrillators. They're the first responders. We need them there. And unless Franklin County is going to put up some type of substation right there for us and dedicate officers to us out of our tax dollars, because I understand Lake Royale is going to be paying for these additional services, we really need to be heard and respected, I guess our views respected, because we're not getting them within. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you. And I must apologize. I think I've mispronounced your name as Pavlak.
Pavlak, yes.
I'm sorry. Okay, Cindy Harper, you're next. Okay, thank you. And then it'll be Scott Strickland.
Wow, it's been a long 2 weeks. I tell you, the search groups have been busy in Franklin County. I attended a ham radio operator class, went out of the ham radio operator class from 2 o'clock to 7 o'clock at night at DSS, attending a shelter open for our public. Then we went over to the Methodist Church, set up cots for shelter over there, and then we went and set up to do the monks coming through Franklin County. And we've really been busy in all this ice storm and plus many other things. Without all these groups, the police department was overwhelmed along with the sheriff's department. You just can't cover every intersection between Wake Forest and here to get them through Franklin County. So we were having to swap around and fly down roads to get to block the people off. And I tell you, it was a lot of people out there and it was cold. Luckily, we didn't have any accidents that day. And that was good. And the importance that I'm trying to bring is, I got a phone call that night. I got back home at 8 o'clock. They needed 2 CERT members to go to Warrenton. And I've been preaching about this for months right here at this podium. What do you think the stipulations was to go? We need an EMR or EMT certified to go to the shelter in Warrenton at 8 o'clock that night. And so as FEMA goes away, we got to start looking what we have with them, because it's going to be left to the locals to provide for the counties. And we're doing the best with what we got, and we're going to continue to do. We cover many parades, many night outs and stuff, and it's getting more and more that we're going to have to do. And as I said before, I insured all my people, and they're insured really well. Just in case something happens, when time they leave home, when they get the notification to come out, they are covered, their vehicle's covered. Whatever happens in between point A, they're covered. And so I took that in because today's world is not like it was 20 years ago or 30 years ago when I started, when you didn't have all this going on. If they get hurt in the woods or what have you, they got insurance and they got workman's comp to cover them if they have to be out of their job. So it's a lot that went into play thinking about doing what we're doing. And I'm just proud to have the group back here standing over here and some over here sitting down that I have that's willing to do what we do, and including Commissioner Speed. We go out and we put a lot of time in. A lot of people don't see us, but we're there. I mean, it's just, everything don't need to be seen, but I'm saying, we're here working, and just want y'all to know that we appreciate what we do. We appreciate y'all supporting us. And as we move forward, as new adherers come in, we still need y'all's support to help us to do what we need to do, because we can't do it alone. We have to pull together and do it as a team. And I think we got a good team of commissioners. And, I'm just excited. I mean, because I've got people that want to join from the school systems all over. I mean, they teach the EMT and the CERT program in the schools. If we don't give them a place to go to start, we got to start a program where they can get in somewhere and volunteer to see if they want to do it. Some say, well, they can join the fire department. Well, no, they don't really want to go all that training and that, where they just want to see what it's like. And then if they like it, then they're going up to the next level. Then the next level. And now Franklin County MS has a crowd of folks in the employment thing, and we won't be in the bind that we're in. And so it's a great process to partner with the county doing what we're trying to do. And so I appreciate all y'all do for us. And I hope I get to continue as I do, but I'm just here to tell you what we're doing. And we got to go to sometime this week to take down the cots at the shelter now. So thank y'all for what you do, and we appreciate every one of it.
Scott.
Thank you, Scott. Next will be Richard Wainwright.
Thank you. Lake Royale, I don't know if you need the address.
Yes.
945 Sagamore Drive. Ms. Pavlik said it very, very well in reference to the MOA, or MOU, I'm sorry. But there's a few other concerns we all have. According to North Carolina statute, the Sheriff's Department cannot give speeding tickets on private roads without the approval of the owner. I'm not sure if this board considers the president of our board the owner of our roads, but he's not. The property owners are the owners of our roads, and this has not been voted on by anybody other than the board. And I don't even know if they voted on it because they're not telling us. We also have, we're not just Franklin County, we're also Nash County. I believe it's illegal for the Franklin County Sheriff's Department to do anything in Nash County. So it's not just, I mean, we spent a lot of time and effort years and years ago to get the North Carolina legislature to give our Lake Royale company police the authority to do everything that they need to do within Lake Royale, both in Nash and Franklin County. For the past several months, our board has been asked what was going on regarding the MOU between Lake Royale and Franklin County. There's been conflicting and vague responses. As an example, oh, that was 2 years ago by a board member that's no longer with us. Another one, oh, this was just the board putting up feelers. Okay, they're not telling the property owners anything. We are requesting disclosure and adherence to our bylaws. Many of our property owners moved here, including myself, for many reasons, not the least of which is having the security and safety of having our own police force. Elaine Salmon wrote to you under the Freedom of Information Act asking about what's going on with this MOU. She couldn't make it here tonight, but she texted me and asked me to mention the fact that she has not heard back about this. And we would like real transparency. We don't get it from our board, so we would like it from this board. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Tara Rowe.
Hi, sorry to be redundant, but my name is Tara Rowe. I live in Lake Royale at 631 Sagamore Drive. I am here also as a Lake Royale property owner, and I'm here to ask that the Franklin County Commissioners review the Lake Royale bylaws as they look into entering this agreement. Now, as Sandy and both Richard have said, we have been given conflicting stories as property owners. Then we're being told an MOU is assigned. Our bylaws and covenants require that 2/3 of the members in good standing have signed and agreed with this action being taken, because our bylaws and covenants state that we will have Lake Royale Company Police, not Franklin County. And the issue that we straddle two counties, Franklin and Nash, so our entire community needs to be covered by an agreement, not part of it. We are already paying for services in Franklin County, so to provide is why are we being taxed then? Because we're already paying for Franklin County sheriffs and we pay police. I would ask that you look into our bylaws before you enter into any agreement so that we are not forced to take action as property owners. I would also ask that the county issue be handled. If Franklin County is coming in, then Nash County needs to be advised and appropriate action. But above all, we as board members, as property owners, should be the ones making this decision before it comes to you for a discussion. So I would please ask you to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Linda Fredrickson.
Good evening. How are you doing, Commissioners? Thank you for allowing me to be here for just less than 5 minutes. Some of you know I'm a talker, so I wrote some notes. I'm actually here just to share some information and to plead for you to advocate for the children in our county. I really want, when you make decisions, to realize that your decisions impact our children, and our children are not registered as Democrats or Republicans or anything, but they will be our future. I'm on the last end of my lifespan, but I will argue and fight for and be passionate for our children until my last breath. So I'd like for you to support the children and look at a face of a child each time you make a decision. That child might be your own, it may be someone else's, but look at a child's face. I also want to share some concerns about there's a high need for quality child care in Franklin County, across the state, but very much so in Franklin County. And we are having child care centers close because they cannot find workers that can work for the pay that is offered. Child care is not babysitting. So I just want to make sure that you understand with the licensure and the criteria and what's expected. So brain development, I've shared this, happens the fastest and the most at the earliest ages. There's data to support that everywhere. And so what we put in at that age is going to impact all of us for the rest of our lives and their lives. So one of the things that's happening right now in Franklin County, we had 162 pre-K spots for 5 or 6 years. We begged and we pleaded, and we got 14 more this year. I encourage you to be the person in between us and the state and other people and say, we need more pre-K spots. The other thing is, we talk about school improvement, and I've heard lots of comments, and I have to do a lot of prayer when I read some things, because some people say some things that they might believe, but it's not really based on fact, and not based on looking at a child, not based on walking in a classroom, not based on going and visit for lunch, not based on participating in the care program for the school system to go in and read. So unless you go in a school, unless you're active in a school, you really don't know what's happening in the school. So I do want to say that teachers, and I also want to clarify my comments. I'm not only passionate. I've raised 6 kids. I have 10 grandkids. And I went to school for early childhood development. I have a bachelor's degree in that from UNC Greensboro. I have a degree in education from UNC Greensboro, and I have a doctorate degree from NC State on education. So I'm just not some grandma up here, passionate. But I am a grandma that's passionate, but I know what I'm talking about. Is money. I've heard someone here say throwing money at it's not going to do it. No, nobody wants to be able to throw money at anything, but you at least need to invest in what you have. Our state is the lowest state in supporting education, but we have the biggest accountability system. So that just pushes teachers not to want to be teachers. In a neighboring county this week, the letter was sent home by the teacher, and it was saying, we're working on our scores. We got to get our scores up because we're graded on our scores. So they had sent a note home, we're having a Valentine party. All the kids participate in the Valentine party. But if you have improved this much, you get 1 slice of pizza. And if you've improved this much more, you get 2 slices of pizza. I'm going to let y'all ponder on that a little bit. That's where we've put our teachers in our school system. We talk about, the lottery. I was here when the lottery started. It was supposed to be the ice cream on the cake, cherry on the top. And then it wasn't supposed to be supplanted. I know most of you know what that means. Right now, only about 16% goes to education. So you can do the math. So I've also heard about scores, and I had somebody challenge me that's not in this room. I don't think they might be behind me, but it doesn't matter because I've got my data. They challenged about the scores, how bad the scores are in Franklin County. And you've heard people speak passionately about that. So I took it, and I have spent 2 weeks every night, sometime to 1 or 2 in the morning, disaggregating those scores. They score our kids. Franklin County Schools is scoring almost even with the state of North Carolina. and higher in Math 1. Well, we fall short. And some of you say, well, there's some schools that get A's. Some counties have 2 or 3 schools that have A's. I'm sorry. I'm almost done. I apologize.
Okay, hurry.
Motion, we extend the session.
Second.
Thank you. So,
Everyone approved, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Hurry, hurry, Linda.
anyway, I lost my train of thought, but I would just tell you that those scores, people say, so 50% reading. Doesn't that sound terrible? It's terrible for the state. It sounds bad for us. But reading doesn't test reading. When you took your reading test, or if I had you to read something, you could read. It's testing things like themes for 3rd grader. Inferencing. I could give you some things to read and ask each one of you to infer on it. You would have a different inferencing. But according to that test, there's only one right answer. So I'll just say that. So remember, and if you want to get classified by groups of people, to open up every school with Asian Americans, they blow out every test we give in North Carolina. So build a new Franklinton Elementary School. 502 children were there today. And come visit me at the Family Resource Center. Thank you for extending my time.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
Linda. Our next speaker is Dan Tingen.
Contingent, I reside at 125 Old Garden Lane, Youngsville, North Carolina. Thank you all very much for the time to speak. I won't take my full 5 minutes. That'll get you a minute or two back, Roxanne.
Thank you.
It's very much interesting and quite a testimony for the reason that most of these people are here is the reason I came not having any idea that what they wanted to speak to. They're taking advantage of something that I think is very important, and that is the comment period from the public. There has been some conversation that we're the only entity in North Carolina that provides such an event. And yes, it is time consuming. It's time consuming for you all and time consuming for all these people to come. But they have concerns, and you've heard some of them tonight, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. It is a testimony, I think, to the importance of this and not to discredit the importance of your time. I think about the job that you all do. Most of you all, if not all of you, are just like I am. You've got a real job. Got one that pays to keep the lights on at home, and you've got children to raise or grandchildren that you want to care about. So you've got other things to do besides county business. There's a lot of work here to be done. And we appreciate the commitment that you all have made to fulfill that obligation that you, by the way, signed up for when you decided you want to run for this position. But notwithstanding, there's just a lot to be done. And I think denying the public, which my understanding was there was at least some conversation about that. I understand there's some strong support on the board to retain the comment period from the public. And I'm just here to remind you of how important it is. And all these people behind me are helping you all to see that. The public can provide a good amount of input to you all. And I think the shortness of time, all the demands on time could be greatly assisted in public commenting in other forums. It was mentioned earlier that one of these folks that spoke commented on the fact that something was voted on in January. I know that you all are satisfied that you all are following the legal requirements for public notice advertising in the paper and what. But I've been caught short on that one. Interesting. Not seeing it, not understanding it. So the that are published. There are a couple of that you all might do that assist people like me. I can find your website. I can find your agendas. I can see your packets. I'd like you all to consider a little bit more transparency, not that you're trying to be not transparent, but a way to make just the average citizen be able to find what's going on in the county. One of the mechanisms that I've utilized across the state, meaning at the state level, they develop a listserv, meaning that when public notices are out, when other things are going on, when the boards are meeting and other things, there's just an email. And if you all could offer the opportunity to develop that email list, then the people on that list would automatically receive email notices, and that would be tremendously helpful. Another thing you might consider is to put on your page for the commissioners, the same page that I find your agendas and what have you, a kind of a miniature bullet point that would provide me a link to public notices. I would find that very helpful. So thank you again for your time. I appreciate your allowing me to speak. Thank you.
Thank you. And we're down to our last speaker, which is Scott Yakey.
Commissioners, fellow folks in the Franklin County, my name is Scott Yakey. I live at 270 Stevens Way in Youngsville. My purpose this evening is to give you an update. I was here back in July talking about Youngsville CERT, and I will be brief. As you are aware, Youngsville CERT is an all-volunteer organization. We're dedicated to the citizens of Youngsville, Franklin County, and the surrounding communities. We had a very successful 2025. We had 2 missing persons incidents that we participated in Tar River and Pilot. We supported Franklin County Emergency Services, Management Services at 3 events, JR Rodeo, Touch a Resource, and the Franklinton Christmas Parade. We supported the town of Lake Royale with their 4th of July parade, which was on the 5th of July. Make it a little bit easier for those who work throughout the week. We participated in 5 Youngsville events this year. Youngsville 150th celebration, the Youngsville Summer Days, Youngsville Night Out, and the Halloween and Christmas parades. Youngsville CERT supported the 2nd Renaissance Fair, which it's their 2nd year in operation. A total of 11 opportunities to serve the Youngsville and Franklin County communities, resulting in a volunteer contributions. This is volunteer, this is not training, of over 312 hours, which according to 2024 Emergency Management Services calculates out to $10,296 that we saved the county and our communities. We educate and train our volunteers and the community in basic disaster response, focusing on organizational support, medical operations, fire safety, light search and rescue, and other ways to support our community first responders, such as set up and stage on-site resources so the first responders can focus on urgent priorities and incident site command. We have had the opportunity to provide basic CERT training in February of last year and in October, and we currently have 18 responders, 5 active, and a Facebook following, believe it or not, of over 100 people. And we just started our Facebook operation in October. So we're growing. This has been a very exciting year. As you know, we became incorporated in July. We have established nonprofit status, and we're grateful to the Youngsville Fire Department and Franklin County Emergency Management for their support and encouragement. Youngsville CERT is growing and looks to the future to provide service to our community and our betterment. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Scott.
Madam Chair, before we go any further, I need to rewind and correct the motion I made earlier concerning the consent agenda. I was looking at the old cover sheet when I asked to remove item F. What that should be is removing item G.
Second.
That's updates to the advisory boards.
That's right.
So what do we need to do about the annual report for unpaid taxes that we did remove?
Need to add that back in.
Well, at this point, I would just vote that one agenda item as a separate agenda item. And if you want to unwind that and just take the advisory boards off, y'all will need to do a separate motion to undo that vote and just say we move to rescind that vote and take that off the agenda. So I would just do
Rescind the vote.
the prior vote.
The prior vote of
I make the motion to rescind the prior vote.
second.
All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone want to oppose?
Now make a motion to,
Okay, so we're rescinding, did you, just on that one advisory board? Okay. That's, just want to make sure we're all in agreement.
no, we're
The one that
rescinding-
you just made a motion on the advisory board and, well,
no,
and
we're
we had a
rescinding the
second.
earlier vote.
On the consent agenda?
That's right.
Okay, that's fine.
We're,
We
Okay.
just rescinded the modifications of lease with the Triangle North Airport.
no,
No.
no.
Okay.
Earlier, I made the motion.
But
to-
that's the one that got scratched off
The
earlier.
one that got scratched off was actually the releases,
the
annual report of
taxes.
unpaid
That's right.
taxes.
That's right.
So that's what actually, because
That's right.
y'all just put item F, so that was the annual releases. You can, I'm gonna assume y'all just rescinded your vote on the consent agenda. That's what we're gonna say. So now.
The whole consent agenda.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, let's start
So
over.
now- Yeah, and that's what I'm gonna say, y'all just voted on. So now, Mr. Speed, you want to remove the item that's up, this now G, updates to advisory board.
That's right.
Okay.
And do we have a second to that motion? And all approved, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Okay, so now that means your consent agenda is everything but the update to advisory
But-
boards, and it puts back in releases, the annual report of unpaid taxes.
Correct.
Okay, so now you can vote on that consent agenda if y'all are all okay with it.
Okay.
Motion to approve the remaining consent agenda.
Second.
Second.
And all approved, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, do we need to have discussion for you on G, or is that
No,
gonna be
that's
later
what I
date?
was talking about earlier. We'll
I
do
got
a
it.
little more research on
Got it.
that. That's
Okay,
it.
we're done with that. Okay, thank you. All right, our next item is item 3, public hearings. And we have Colton Young here, who's going to speak on this and lead us through this.
Kristen, do you need me to do anything for you here? All right, thank you, Board. Chairwoman Bragg, I have a presentation for you tonight, and a quick summary of our request is for a rezoning by Thomas and Hutton on tax parcel ID 024063, which is
Excuse me just a minute.
Yes, ma'am.
With IT, our TV right here is not working. It would help so we don't have to turn around and look. I know. If it comes on, good. If it doesn't, we'll have to turn around. Restart. There we go. Now it's coming up.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on just a minute. Let him get it running. Are y'all okay with him going ahead and starting?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, wait a minute. He's coming back. Hold on.
I'll be good.
There we go. Thank you. Okay,
All right.
continue.
Yeah, I'll start back over. Thank you, Ken and
Okay.
Justin, for getting that. It will help if the board is able to follow along. So tonight I have before you 25 REZ03, which is a rezoning that was requested by Thomas and Hutton on Franklin County Tax Parcel ID 024063. That is a 990.78 acre parcel located along West River Road in the Lewisburg Township. And they are seeking to rezone this parcel from agricultural residential to residential 8. So you'll see on this next slide here, we've got a brief overview, and this can be found in your packet as well. The subject parcel is a large parcel highlighted in pink. We do have the 100-year floodplain layer turned on. You can see all of that nice ocean blue color there. The picture on the bottom, again, it should be in your packet, is with our zoning layer turned on. So you'll see all of that light green that you have there is agricultural residential. The purple color that you see is going to be the town limits of Lewisburg. And then we'll go on to the next slide. This is just to show you also the town limits and their zoning. So the green that you see there is going to be town of Lewisburg agricultural residential parcels. You'll also notice a little bit of purple down there. That's going to be some light industrial that you have along West River Road and T. Kemp Road, and a little bit of yellow, which is medium density residential 2. And again, these are parcels that are in the town of Lewisburg's zoning jurisdiction, but just wanted the board to be able to have that information. So brief overview. As you've noticed here, the subject property is in close proximity to the town of Lewisburg water and sewer. The subject property is located along West River Road, and according to 2023 NCDOT traffic volume data, approximately 3,500 vehicles pass through this section of West River Road daily. I want to note a couple of environmental issues here. The subject property is located within the Tar Pamlico River Basin and is also located in watershed 4. This watershed, you heard me say this a few times tonight, this restricts residential development. So single-family residential development shall not exceed 1 dwelling unit per 20,000 square feet as defined on a project-by-project basis. Now, the lots may be less than 20,000 square feet within an approved cluster development, provided that overall density limits are maintained. So I'll probably say that 3 or 4 more times, but just want to drive that home. So we'll highlight a few pieces from the application here. The application states that future residential growth should be concentrated in areas where higher development intensity and amenities are more feasible. And the application cites the Franklin County Comprehensive Development Plan. The comprehensive land use plan has this property designated as agricultural. And I also want to note too, and I'll have a chart here in just a few slides that we'll go over, but the R8 zoning district has fewer commercial uses available than the AR zone district. The R8 zoning district will allow agricultural operations to continue until such time that the parcels develop. So rezoning would not stop any agricultural operations that are happening on the property until it's developed. The application also highlights that current and future employers in Franklin County and the town of Lewisburg are located near the subject property. Makes several references to the rezoning request aligning with the Franklin County Comprehensive Development Plan, as well as the town of Lewisburg's Comprehensive Development Plan. And here's that other piece I was talking about again. Development density will be restricted by that watershed 4 watershed regulations to a maximum of 1 dwelling unit per 20,000 square feet. So a few of those uses that are permitted in AR that are not permitted in R8, of course, all of this information can be found in the Unified Development Ordinance, but I just wanted to highlight a few that may have some higher intensity there. So you note AR in the middle column and R8 on the right. All of these are permitted in AR with a special use permit, which is what that S stands for. And then if you look in the R8 column, you're going to have all of those being prohibited, so not allowed under any circumstances. But we'll go down the list here quickly. So you have a manufactured home park, detention and correctional facilities, campgrounds and recreational vehicle parks, transfer stations, solar energy farms, airfields, and landing strips. And again, all of those would come before the board for approval, but they are possibilities in the agricultural residential zone district and not in the residential 8 district. So here we'll take a look again. I put it in chart form, but the density here, so for AR and R8, regardless of the zoning, it's still 1 dwelling unit per 20,000 square feet. Change in zoning would not change the development density. The watershed will dictate that regardless of the zoning. And I did put our cluster subdivision setbacks here just for you to see, mainly the lot sizes and the lot widths. So those are some of the things that could change if this property was rezoned and developed in a cluster subdivision, or also known as a conservation subdivision. But the density will remain 1 unit per 20,000 square feet. So this is an illustration from our comprehensive land use plan. And I know it's going to be a little tougher to see, but if you look on the left, you'll see what will be a traditional residential development, just a little more spread out, taking up a little more space. If you look on the right, you'll see that same density, same number of homes, but in a conservation subdivision, or what you'll hear us call a cluster subdivision. So you can see same number of dwellings there, but taking up much less space and leaving much more green space, much more open space and trees. Coming to the end of my presentation, did want to note that the planning board considered this and recommended it by a vote of 3-2. And then I'm going to go over a couple of technical items here. So North Carolina General Statute 160D 605 requires that prior to the adoption or rejection of any zoning amendment, the governing board must adopt a statement addressing whether the proposed action is consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan. The statement must also explain why the board considers the action to be reasonable and in the public interest. Now, Gina, I have our consistency statement. Do you want me to read this into the record? I don't have a problem doing that if I need to. It's a little wordy, but I can do it.
I mean, it's in your packet.
It is, yes, ma'am.
It's up to the board whether they want to read it.
Question.
Okay. I'm almost finished, and then I'll be happy to. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Well, if does the board want me to read this entire slide in, I can. It's in your packets. It's in my presentation, so it will be part of the record. But
Does anyone need for him to read this?
I think we're okay.
okay, thanks, sir. All right, and then recommended action, of course, is just consider adoption of the zoning consistency statement and rezoning request REZ 2503 for parcel ID 0240063 from agricultural residential to R8. And that concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions. I would like to note that the applicant does have a presentation that they are going to provide for the board as well. So I'll answer any questions for you now, and the applicant can also answer questions after their presentation.
So, go ahead, you had a question.
All right.
You go right ahead.
Okay, exactly what do you mean when you say that R8? For my sake, audience sake,
Yes, sir. So
what does that mean, R8?
it's one of our, yes, sir. It's one of our 4 residential zoning districts.
Yeah.
And R8 would be generally, if it wasn't in a watershed, would be a little bit higher density allowed.
What
than,
does it allow? How much?
as far as the density?
The density.
Yes, sir. So in this particular case, the lot sizes may be smaller. The lot sizes may be 10,000 square feet if it were an approved cluster subdivision or.
Say about 4, 5, 6 per acre.
Well, they're going to be limited based on that watershed. That's the thing I want to make abundantly clear is the watershed limits the amount of density that can happen on this parcel to 1 dwelling per 20,000 square feet. That's regardless of lot size. We'll consider the overall acreage and the density would be based on that watershed.
That whole 900 acres, 1,000 is under that watershed. Some of it is, some of it isn't. But anyway.
No, I believe the entire parcel is in the watershed.
So Colton, if you'll go back to a previous slide
Yes,
where
sir.
it had, it actually had, there you go, right there.
This one here?
It'll stay right there. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands this when when we talk about a conservation subdivision here, you've got 1 lot per 20,000 square feet. That's taking into consideration the whole 1,000 acres or 990 acres of this thing. So that's why they're able to cluster some of these things together and give the green space. Is that what I understand? That's why we have considerable green space in other areas.
If this were a conservation subdivision, yes, sir. So the lot sizes would decrease. The density wouldn't. Just because the lot sizes could decrease doesn't mean the number of homes would increase because the density would remain the same. It just allows for them to group those, as you see here, just an example, into a smaller footprint, leaving more open space, green space.
And I don't know if it said in the consistency statement, I probably should have had you go ahead and read that into record, but I'm just curious, is there any, as far as the 2 votes in opposition from the planning board, do we have any reference to that on what that was?
As far as to why they voted?
Correct.
No, sir.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
So one last question.
Yes, sir.
How many developments will be there? How many residential parcels will be in that 998?
That may be a question better suited for the applicant. Yeah, yes, sir, if that's okay.
Any other questions? Okay,
All right, we'll have the applicant provide their presentation.
Yeah, let's have them open the hearing for them to do their.
Motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
all approve, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone oppose?
Good evening, Madam Chairman and Board of Commissioners. Thanks for giving us this opportunity to present this project and this rezoning before you. My name is Preston Royster. I work for Thomas Nutton Engineering Company. I'm the applicant for this rezoning for this site. As staff mentioned, the site is approximately 990 acres. It's located on the east side of West River Road, across from T. Kemp Road. And this is the boundary survey that was included with the application. As staff mentioned, the site's 990 acres. The existing zoning is AR, and it is entirely within the watershed, the WS4 watershed, which limits the density. Staff noted 1 unit per 20,000 acres, which is approximately 2 units per acre. It's just the math, whichever way you want to talk about it. It is adjacent to the town of Lewisburg's town limits. It is outside of the ETJ of the town of Lewisburg's town limits, which is important to note. One other thing to note that's unusual about this rezoning request is that the majority of the rezonings that we're involved with do request an increase in density. In this case, the change from AR to R8 does not come along with an increase in density. It's still the same number of houses that could be constructed on the site today versus tomorrow if the rezoning is approved. So it's still limited to 2 units per acre today, and it would be limited to 2 units per acre tomorrow if the rezoning is approved as presented. And there again, that is related to the WS4 watershed that the site is located within. Staff noted that the AR does allow additional uses beyond R8. I believe the R8 zoning only allows residential uses. Here's some additional uses that the AR or that are allowed in the AR by right. Or that would be allowed to come before you for consideration that are not allowed within the R8. In addition to the ones staff noted, shooting ranges, some types of sales and self-storage and waste-related uses would be allowed in the AR zoning on this site. So as mentioned, if we're allowed to rezone this to R8, the intent will be for this to be a cluster subdivision. I think staff's picture was a little bit better, but in a traditional subdivision, such as it's currently zoned, the lots would be bigger, they'd be more spread out, it would take up more room. In the cluster subdivision scenario, the lots are grouped together, which allows more open space. In this particular instance, with the cluster subdivision, 25% of the site would be required to remain open space, which is approximately 250 acres. So out of the 990 acres, roughly 250 acres would have to remain as open space, which could be trees, woods, recreation facilities, and a number of those things. And out of that 250 acres, 1/5 of that, so roughly 50 acres, has to be active open space. So I heard tonight from lots of the constituents, there were lots of open space and Parks and Rec advocates in the crowd tonight, speaking on other matters, but this is an important point. If the R8 is approved for this site, this is the type of development that would occur here. And lots of open space would be maintained and lots of recreation space would be provided. And these are just some more pictures that help illustrate that. There's more conservation with subdivisions of this type, more woods, more treed area, rec spaces, and opportunities for residents to enjoy the amenities. And as staff mentioned, we reviewed the Franklin County Comprehensive Plan board guidance on how the site should be, would be rezoned. And the comprehensive plan does note many land use and design or development design objectives. One of those is to direct growth towards places where development can be supported by existing planned infrastructure and warranted by market demand. Since this site is located near the town of Lewisburg's town limits, that aligns with that objective very well, and it provides housing adjacent to the town. So you're supporting the existing commercial establishments and providing additional commercial and industrial investment in the community by locating this or by changing the zoning to this west here. And we compared this, and we compared this to the Lewisburg 2030 comprehensive plan, which aligned very well with the proposed change of zoning here. The town of Lewisburg also wants to focus, or wants development focused towards the West River Road area. And one of the town's objectives is to promote housing in close proximity to their industrial campus, which is also nearby. So the town's objectives and comprehensive plan align with the county's objectives and comprehensive plan in this area and for this site. One of the other land use objectives is to promote area along NC 56 as a competitive industrial employment center. While this site is not proposed to be industrial, it does provide needed housing for that industrial center. So the necessary housing will provide places for the folks that work at that industrial center to live and raise their families. One of the county's other objectives is to support residential development. And in addition to that, in support of that, the county would like to support a variety of housing types, which are allowed in the R8 district. Note that one of the other objectives in the comprehensive plan is to diversify housing options, which we feel this project will do. And the cluster subdivision option requires those conservation areas as mentioned. So you're getting a little bit of both. You're getting the housing as well as the conservation or conserved areas. And in addition to that, some additional objectives from the comprehensive plan is, or these are some things that are noted in there that help guide that vision, is that seniors and millennials are choosing alternatives to single-family homes on large lots. So trends now are to a variety of housing options, smaller lots, things that are more strategically located with access to amenities and employment. So we feel that this R8, the change in zoning request, aligns with the objectives of the comprehensive plan by supplying those houses, creating a multi-generational community. It'll create a vibrant, walkable area and support and strengthen the town as key population and activity centers by development being focused adjacent to those areas. And this is a map from the county's comprehensive plan that notes which areas are suitable for residential development. Note that the areas that are red are less suitable, the areas that are dark green are most suitable. It's a little bit hard to see, but there's a blue rectangle in the middle of this map that surrounds this parcel, and the dark green color notes this area as one that is suitable for residential development as identified by the county. So we feel there again that the request to change the zoning or revise the zoning from AR to RA is in alignment with the county's comprehensive plan. And lastly, we really do appreciate the opportunity to present this exciting opportunity to the county. We feel this will give the county additional housing, which fulfills several of the land use and design development objectives of the county's comprehensive plan, and aligns with the county's vision for future growth by providing that needed housing. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, can you speak a little bit to the 5% of active space and what the definition is of active space? Obviously, we have 240, 250 total acres, but what is the plan of your client and or just generally the thought is for the active space? If you'll define that a little bit more clearly, I think that would help.
Right, and I may have to defer a little bit to staff, but in general, those types of facilities include clubhouses, pools, playgrounds, trails, recreation fields or athletic fields, soccer fields, those types of things. There's many others, tennis, pickleball, disc golf. So facilities such as that folks can actively use. It's not just, I'll say it's not just woods, you know, it's not just conservation areas. It's not just land that's left undeveloped. It is intended to be used by the residents and members of, or folks that live in the community. And as far as the vision goes for that, we're not 100% sure what that's going to look like just yet. There's a lot of planning left to do. Obviously, there's
Right.
part of that's market driven, part of that's based on what the needs of the community may be. Obviously, with 50 acres that we have to provide, gives
It's
lots of
substantial.
opportunities.
Yeah.
Gives lots of opportunities to provide lots of different types of recreation facilities.
Anyone else have questions?
Is this gonna be gated?
It's not intended to be gated now, no, sir.
So outside people, how to use the recreational facilities?
That'll be determined in the future. We've got a long ways to go. This is just the first step. So that may be something that's considered.
Along with being gated, it's still being.
No, I don't believe the intent is to gate. The intent is to have it all be public roads, things like that. So I don't believe you can gate public roads, right? It'd have to be private or something different. So the intent is for it to be public infrastructure. As far as the,
State maintain once you get it up to certain levels.
once you meet certain criteria, yes, sir, the state.
Anyone else have questions?
I'll do one more follow-up here. Just, yeah, I think you mentioned it in one of the slides. Maybe a diversification of the housing type in there maybe is the best way to put it. Have y'all, and then maybe a little bit out front of everything, but do you have any idea what that looks like as far as what housing is going to be offered in there, or what the plan is?
At this time, we do not know. We know we want to have options. A lot of that's market driven, as you can imagine. This is a multi-year project. We see this being built out over decades, not years.
Yeah.
So that may change as time moves.
But you're flexible, or you
Exactly. It's
essentially, you know,
it's not
flexibility in the
planned
market.
today. We're not looking at exactly the certain number of
I get it.
X types of people. So,
I get it.
so there.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any further questions from our board?
Yep.
Okay.
To that end, Commissioner Davis, any multifamily, so condominium, apartments, or townhomes would require conditional zoning, a CZ2. So any development of that type would come back before this board, be approved.
Okay.
Just note that.
Good.
Thank you,
you, Colton.
Okay, if no other questions up here, then is there anyone in the audience that wanted to speak in the public hearing? Okay, come forward and state your name, and do we have a Bible? Don't we have to do this swear? We don't, okay.
Sorry, my name is Michelle Graham. I live at 302 Sunset Avenue in Lewisburg. And I just have a really quick question pursuant to the presentation that was just given. When you've done the environment, have you also done an assessment for the impact on wildlife? Because a lot of us are starting to see coyotes in the streets. So I'm just really curious about the impact on the habitat in that property. Thank you. Good question.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, does anyone else? Come on.
Good evening. Rosemary Champion, 118 White Level Road, Lewisburg, Carolina. Thank you. I just had a quick question. I went through the agenda packet and I saw everything that was all the checklists. But then when I got to the portion about the vote from the planning department, I had the same question that Davis had. 3-2 tells me it wasn't a slam dunk. So I wanted to see what the concern was of the two that voted against it. First of all, I'd like to know if you could tell me who voted for it and who voted. Okay, because I tried, but the last minutes on the website are from December. Those minutes are not showing there, because I did try to do that. But that's my concern with that, is that, you know, we got a 3-2 vote and can't see who was there, who wasn't, because you got a 7-member board. 6-member. Okay, so somebody was. Okay, all right. And right, the minutes. Okay, that was my question, just concern about the 3-2 vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone else that would like to speak? Yes.
I live on West River Road, between T Camp and May River, and butting right up against the front door. Reiterate what the lady asked. This is gonna have these critters are gonna be knocking right at my front door. Nobody asked me. I moved here 6 years ago, barely new to the county, but I am happy. I love the community. But I don't agree. This is my only chance to get my opinion out there, and I'm going to say that I do not agree with development. I think that this is all money driven, but I'm not going to get into that. I would ask that the people who move to this county for their space, their privacy, to have that country style of living, that their respect be brought into this. Maybe this, like I said, this is going to bring the city limits right to I moved outside of the city for certain reasons. I do have a shooting range in my backyard. I won't be able to do that if things go. Most of all, this is tough. I thought anybody came up here. This is not easy. Most of all, yeah, I would ask that you guys take these people's thoughts and their concerns into heavy consideration. This is my first time coming to a meeting like this. I am not shy. I think that you guys should definitely look more concerned. Some of you guys, as I've been watching from the back, do not look interested in this conversation and would look like y'all ready to go to hell home. Excuse my language, but I think that these concerns are very heavy and should be taken into heavy consideration. So I object, and I know that my minute concern is nothing against the money thrown into this, but I definitely do not. That's my concern.
Yes, sure, of course.
Absolutely.
I live at 475 Access Drive in Youngsville. My concern with this and all of the growing new building communities, like I get it, we need the housing, but there's people here that can't afford these houses that are being built. I live in Legacy, which is supposed to be affordable housing. It's not. All of the houses out there have been bought up by some company that is now renting them. So my husband and I have been here, well, I've been here for 30 years, but like we can't find anything to buy that we can afford. And we make pretty decent money. The number one employer here is the school system. The teachers can't afford houses like this, you know, and there's no option to like buy a 1 acre lot like I talked to you about, Mark, you know, with a double wide, like you can't even do that. There's no affordable housing. And so I just ask that y'all take that into consideration. And yes, these neighborhoods have pools, they have splash pads, but we're not allowed to use them. If you don't live in those neighborhoods, they're not going to allow you to come in and use them. So to say, you know, maybe later on we'll discuss that, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So I just ask that, like, when we think about housing, like, think about the people that have been here for 30 years that still can't find a house and that can't afford one. And the teachers that we need to work here, they can't afford it either. So just keep that in mind, please. And I appreciate it.
Thank you. And we have time to listen to anyone in the public hearing. So is there anyone else that would like to speak? Come in forward. Oh, we got one behind you. Wait, she jumped up first. This way, you can be next.
So I totally agree. My name is Tara Rowe. I'm at 631 Sagamore Drive. I understand the concern of, you know, you have this coming in, there's a shooting range, but the other thing to think of is the infrastructure of the roads. You're talking about dense developments. You're saying, oh, we're going to have this green space. That's great. But when you're gone 20 years from now, they're going to come back in and say, oh, we're going to take the green space. The other thing that's going to happen is if you look at the roads right now, you have 401, you have 98, you have 97. They're already crowded. And not only do you have unaffordable housing, but people are having to travel on those roads. They don't have shoulders on them or anything. And yet we're looking at building so many more houses. There really needs to be planned infrastructure, because otherwise, I'll tell you, you're going to become like Cary or Raleigh, and it's going to be miserable for everybody that lives here. So not only is affordability an issue, and by the way, teachers don't get paid enough in any county, but let's do something about Franklin. But we really need to look at the roads and the infrastructure as well before we go and look at multi-dense developments. And green space is great, but make them put a caveat. Make it 100 years. But you can't go and redevelop it, because that's what's going to happen. It's going to come back and say, let's take the green space. Thank you.
Okay.
And I just want some clarification on this. To her point, then I think I know the answer. And if you don't mind stepping up and just answering it, or Colton, either one. But to coming back to take this green space, this is in a watershed. So the future ability for that to happen is, I would imagine, next to nothing. Is that correct? Either one of you guys? Tar River Basin, watershed, whatever. I mean, it would lock it into that open space anyway. Okay.
Access to be dedicated.
Right.
Perpetuity.
Perpetuity. Yeah. So. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, with regards to traffic, the next step with this would be traffic studies and determining what road improvements are needed. So that's one of our next steps.
Okay. Morning. Yeah.
DSAMS 635 Lake Royale, Lewisburg. I worked in new home communities in the sales end of it for about 18 years, and these are individual home sales. These are just under, generally just under a half-acre lot, so good sized lot. What you do need to, I would say, lock in some kind of a guarantee. What the one gal just said, two people before me, they must guarantee that they will not sell to a BlackRock type investment firm, because she's exactly right. They will come in, they will buy everything in there, and they'll turn it into rentals. And this is happening throughout the country, and we can't have this. This is being done to move us away from an ownership, a property ownership perspective, which is one of the things our country was founded on, and move us into a renting, you will own nothing and like it perspective. And this has happened in Europe. I just had friends that came back from Germany. They said the wealthy people own a house and everybody else is poor and they rent. I had no idea that that was Germany. But I would ask for a 100% guarantee, if you do move forward with this, that they cannot sell to one of these block buyers. Thank you.
Thank you, Dee. So, do we have anyone else that would like to speak? Come forward. You do.
Bill Pace, 528 West River Road. One question I had from the previous was, so 2,000 homes by right, based on the 1,000 acres. If 500 acres of that is unbuildable, does that limit housing, or does cluster housing become more clustered? Like, all right, we're going to put 2,000 houses into a much smaller area, even though we own 1,000.
So there are a lot of factors that go into that. So by right, you're still allowed to put 2 units per acre. we don't know, we haven't studied exactly how much of the site is undeveloped. But that, there again, those are next, those will be physical constraints, buffers, floodplain, topography, is a big one. But once that's studied, we'll figure out exactly how many like.
Okay, thank you.
Then from the previous meeting, about- they were saying that the city of Lewisburg has no intent to expand its city limits to encompass or provide water to Lewisburg City. I know that's still part of your figuring out what you can do with property. The other thing, I don't know if this has anything to do with R8 or not. When I lived in Decatur, they changed the zoning. Decatur moved R8, not R8, section to Decatur for value. Basically to clean up downtown. Is there anything that prevents property from turning into section 8 type housing?
Colton, do you mind speaking of that? I would appreciate it.
I don't think we restrict the type of housing that goes there, but based on the information we've received, and I'll let Preston elaborate if he likes, that doesn't appear.
It is. Turn.
But Preston may actually, if you want to answer his question, at least a little bit of, give some insight.
Right, so the R8 and Section 8 have no bearing on each other, it's just a number. The intent here is for this to be a market-driven for sale product. It's not for subsidized housing. With that said, if it is subsidized or something changes, we'd have to come back to the board to get a condition on to that. And right now, it's be Andrew.
All right, are you finished?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have anyone else that would like to speak in the public hearing? Okay, go ahead,
Okay.
Commissioner Ford.
The planning board or the planning department, did you send out notices to all the adjacent landowners by mail about this?
For this hearing or for the planning board hearing as well? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We did, and we sent them out for the planning board. I believe there was one gentleman that did not get one for the planning board, so we apologize for that. We made sure his address was on the list for this. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Correct.
I have a question. ma'am.
Okay, go ahead, Commissioner Bunn.
I think this question will be for Colton. So if we don't take any action tonight, it'll remain in the AR zone like it is now.
Yes, sir.
And the subdivision can be done and nothing else said about it on our end.
Correct.
But it'll just be more spread out like the slide you had with two pieces side by side with no open space.
That's correct. Yes, sir. So, I mean, this land could be developed as a major subdivision as is without being rezoned. Yes, sir.
Okay. In the R8, that's going to guarantee and lock in the 248 acres of open space guaranteed forever.
With the cluster subdivision, yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Anyone else want to speak in the public hearing? If not, we would entertain a motion at this
Move to
time.
close the public hearing.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. All right, next step is that we're to consider the approval of the request. I'm gonna read this, to rezone the 990.78 acres consisting of parcel, and that numbers for that, located on West River Road in the Lewisburg Township from agricultural residential AR to residential RA. And that would be our proposal.
Madam Chair, based on the hearing and the information given, I make a motion to approve the request to rezone the 990.7 acres of parcel 024063 located on West River Road in the Lewisburg Township from agricultural AR to residential R8.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Yes.
So this was a zoning consistency statement, and I'm happy to read it aloud to the record.
Let's go ahead. Why don't you go?
Yeah.
Him go ahead and read it.
Okay,
Bear with me. I'll put on my best voice here.
got it.
The proposed rezoning of the subject property aligns with the goals outlined in Franklin County's Comprehensive Development Plan. Land Use Principle 2 recommends the development be directed towards municipalities, particularly at the edges of municipalities or extraterritorial jurisdictions where corporate limits are likely to expand over time. In addition, the proposed rezoning supports the county's objective of aligning its policies with municipalities to ensure that development activity is concentrated near the municipalities. The proposed residential 8 zoning designation provides design flexibility that limits impact to environmentally sensitive areas. It also permits fewer and less intense uses than the agricultural residential zoning district. Development density will be restricted by WS4 watershed regulations to a maximum of 1 dwelling unit per 20,000 square feet. Residential lots may be less than 20,000 square feet within an approved cluster subdivision, cluster development, provided overall density limits are not exceeded. The subject property is in close proximity to the town of Lewisburg water and sewer. And then the request is or is not consistent with existing land uses and is or is not in public interest.
Okay. Do we include that in the existing motion we just made, or what do we do? So we need to go ahead and hold the vote right now. Will you do that in your motion?
Yeah.
And second?
Second.
Okay. Okay, that settles that. Okay. Everyone who is in favor of this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, we're going to move on to the chairman appointments tonight. And I have the appointments of our board members to the following, and the committees as follows. I have David Bunn to the Franklin Vance Warren Opportunity and Workforce Development.
Yes, ma'am.
Harry Foy to Aging Advisory Board, Library Board, and Car-Tar Area Transit System, CARTS.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I will serve on the Board of Health and the Hospital Board, which is Mariah Parham. And Michael Shriver, I'm appointing him to the Public Utilities Advisory Committee and the Car-Tar Regional Economic Development Commission. Mark Speed, I have Franklin Vance Warren Opportunities, the Social Services Board, VIA Board, and Firefighters Association. Is that good with you, Mark?
Good.
Okay. And Logan Davis, I have you for the Public Utilities Advisory Committee, the Capital Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, which is CAMPO, the Car-Tar Rural Planning Organization, and the Car-Tar Regional Council of Governments.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and Stuart May, I have you for the Chamber of Commerce and Public Utilities Advisory Committee.
Sounds good.
that all sound good? And I'd like to remind you that we're there to represent the rest of our board in these meetings, and we need to make sure we can attend them as much as possible. And I'd like to ask you to all come back, as I do, and report that you attended the meeting, and if there's any information that you need to report from the meeting, sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't, and let us know what those committees, those boards are doing. So do I hear a motion that we accept these appointments as I read out? Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, next item is the board, the Bund Planning Board. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think you're
that's
right.
it.
Got it.
Okay. Russ Bomber is, we're asked to reappoint Russ Bomber to the Bund Planning Board, ETJ, for a 3-year term.
So
Do I hear a
moved.
motion and a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. And then the next thing is the board manager and clerk's comments. So we'll go to our attorney. Do you have comments? And our clerk. Okay, Commissioner Foy, do you have any comments today?
Yes, I do, Madam Chair. I'd just like to recognize our Bund and Youngsville CERT team people here. Appreciate all the good work, everything you do for us. When it gets down to it, we need all the help we can get all the time. Hope we don't need it. It's there. Bad cases, other resources get overwhelmed. We need you. Like I say, need all the help we can get. I can't help but really enthused and pleased with the turnout on this public comment tonight. It is well overdue. Very good. Like I've always commented in the past, this is the most important agenda item on our agenda. This is public comment section. It's really healthy, robust, and hopefully it continues. I hope it don't go down. Sometimes nobody has comment. Maybe 1, 2, which is still important, 1 or 2, but the old saying goes, more the merrier. Here, all parts. I love hearing from the people. Been very, very productive. And I got one thing, last but not least. You know, the voting starts this Thursday. Starts this Thursday and goes to March 3rd. So I highly recommend, like everybody, to go out and exercise their vote on that. And I won't get in a whole lot more detail on that. But probably most of you know, I'm involved in it too. Thick of it. But anyway, that concludes my comment for tonight.
Thank you,
very
Commissioner
much.
Foy. Commissioner Davis.
Yeah, I want to take a minute. I'm actually a little disappointed that some of the people walked out because I was gonna address, the second Commissioner Foy's comments there actually, and to Dan's engine in particular that I am fully for the public comment section. So I have no desire for that to go away. I think we have the time to sit through that. I think that is transparent government, and you hear the people. Ryan, if you don't mind, I'd love to have a conversation about a way, maybe with Kristen, that we can get a better platform to get agendas out to the people of Franklin County. If it's doable, if it's reasonable, if it's fiscally responsible, all that stuff. But I think that would be something to look at. I wanted to send, I'm rapid firing because everybody's ready to go home. I get it here, so I'm talking fast, but I wanted to give respect to Commissioner Speed and Commissioner Foy, but in particular to the advisory groups. Myself and Commissioner Speed and Commissioner Foy, we all worked on those advisory groups, and we looked at them and we evaluated them. And so I just wanted to take a minute to kind of speak to that right there. Yes, that was not for lack of transparency. It was not for trying to get developments in by removing the Historical Preservation Society. We looked at the boards that were, I would probably call them at the time just not getting enough feedback to us. And I don't know if that's on the board's fault or our fault, but we went through that pretty carefully. So to Carl, I'll speak to you because, you know, you were obviously passionate about Parks and Rec, and I grew up playing ball and all that stuff. Leanne, okay, yep, well, thank you. And I didn't realize that. That's something that we can put back on the table, or we can do something different. We're obviously looking for a permanent parks director too. So we wanted to get that person in that seat. To the Economic Development Committee, that was, we're going to and there will be an announcement coming on that we're going to redo the way that that's done. So it's not taking that away. That had become very informal and a very just updated, almost you could send an email out for the EDC. So we want to make that more interactive and more involved throughout this year. And Barbara's working on that. So you'll see some stuff coming this year regarding that. So one of the things that I was trying to do was make it more efficient, right? I'm a private sector guy, so I like to see government move more efficiently and less moving pieces and all that stuff. So that was really the basis for some of that. So obviously open to discussion. Some of that stuff's going to come back in some way or going to be reorganized in some way. And I just wanted to, I wanted to speak. And then the last thing, I think Mr. David right there, were you asking for the minutes of the public utility? Okay, yes. Chris Doherty left, correct? So we need to, Ryan I can send, can we make sure we get minutes to him? Because that's an easy one that myself or Chris or, you know, somebody, will get you the minutes on that last meeting as well. So I just wanted to address that. I talked fast. That was a lot. You can call me or email me on anything on those advisory boards. I'll tell you exactly what I did and why I did it and what the reason was behind it. And Speed and I we'll obviously discuss all this together over the next month. So that's it.
Thank you,
Yep.
Commissioner Davis. Okay, Commissioner May, do you have anything?
I think he done said it all, ain't it? But we do have some great CERT folks out there, good ladies there. And it was nice to see a big crowd here today. I know some are left disappointed. I'm sorry, but that's the way it works sometimes. God bless us all, right? Thank you a lot.
Okay, Commissioner Speed.
Just a little bit, request for a little change in the order of business as evidenced tonight and many other times for that matter. Some comments were made, during public comments that pertain to our consent agenda after we had taken a vote. I would like to make a motion that we switch the order of this so that we can hear how our people feel about what we have on consent agenda. Because our people are reading this and we need to know what's on their mind.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'll second that.
Okay. Nope,
Can't, you'll have to do it.
there you go.
That's good.
Okay.
I think it's worth a discussion.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that we need to look at what order we want to put things in and stuff. We need to look at the agenda and see where we're going to put it. We can discuss all that and see where we're going to put it and stuff. Right? Right, okay. So we have a motion on the floor and a second. You didn't-
Because it's not
Okay.
unanimous without Trevor.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Okay.
That's
then-
all I have.
Okay. Commissioner Bunn.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to ask staff if they could, if it's possible, to make the MOU with Lake Royale public and readily available to the residents at the lake. If their board is not communicating with them and explaining to them what they have come to the county with and wanting, it's important to them people that they know exactly what's going on. And if their board ain't gonna tell them, I would like for our staff to do everything we can on our end to get the information to them.
I agree.
Yeah, so Mr. Bunn, that MOU is not finalized. And any MOU that the county enters into would be public record and available to anyone to request it. But the MOU is not currently finalized, so that if it were to become final and we would finalize it, then it would be available for anybody to ask for it.
Is there any information we can give the residents at the lake pertaining to this and what their board has come to the county with asking?
Well, I mean, not at this time, but certainly we could do that at a later time for sure.
My question related to Commissioner Bundy's, like if something happens, do they get public notice? Some sort, what's coming around? Or-
Yeah, so, on the county side of the transaction, it's our responsibility to make sure we follow the law and make sure we follow our rules.
Right.
On the Lake Royale side of that transaction, Lake Royale has the responsibility to make sure they abide by their bylaws. They do have counsel involved in that, and I am in communication with them. And that's one of the questions based on the comments tonight that I will be asking. So that we're still in the early phases of establishing that MOU.
So before any action is taken, it'll be on our agenda and come back before us to approve a MOU to begin with, and then
No, so you got the board approved and authorized the county management to enter into that MOU based on if the board would like to review it before it is signed, then y'all would need to make a motion to bring it back on.
I would like to make a motion, we bring the MOU back before this board when it's prepared for discussion.
Second.
All right. Then you have a first and a second. It'll be on the agenda
Next.
for next week.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Next
everybody's
month.
not here.
Next month.
That's right.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay. Is that all?
That's all I got.
I'm going to go ahead and give my report, and then I'll come back to our county manager. I did attend a meeting and had a meeting with Advanced Healthcare and some of the leaders of that. Advanced Healthcare is here in Lewisburg, and they have a great operation here. If you need a doctor or healthcare, you can go in there. They're located up behind the hotel in the development back there. And they have a dental clinic, they have an OBGYN, and several specialties in that healthcare center. And anybody can go in there that needs a doctor. If you have insurance, they will take your insurance. If you do not have insurance and you're indigent, it's $40 for you to see a doctor and have full treatment. So it's a great opportunity. It's a great place. I have toured it, been in it a couple of times, and it's really good. And I'm working with them and extending their program and having a hub in Franklinton. That's why I'm meeting with them, because I want them to come to Franklinton and set up an office there also and see patients. So if you need health care, you know anybody that needs health care and can't afford it or doesn't have a doctor, go to Advanced Healthcare. I think you'll like them. It's interesting. Oh, and they have a pharmacy inside there too, so you can get your meds right there. You can walk off the street right now and not have a doctor there or anything and get your prescription filled at Advanced Healthcare right there without a long wait and stuff. So they're really, it's a great program. I did attend the chairman training from UNC that they put on for people who are coming in as chairman and vice chairman. I attended that. I think we all almost attended the employment recognition. This room was packed full of employees this year that came in for recognition. That was a great program. I attended the Franklinton Business After Hours and a ribbon cutting at the Franklinton Market. And I also attended the Mariah Parham Board, and I have a report on Mariah Parham Hospital here in Lewisburg. I had someone call me this week to say, it was on Saturday, and they said, we need to tell you our experience at Mariah Parham Lewisburg. They said they always go to Wake Med because they needed some levels drawn and some stuff drawn, and they have a problem once or twice a year. They have to go to the hospital. They have to stay sometimes a day or two, or they don't. They just need the services that they can get in the ER. And they wanted to tell me what the professional care they got in the ER here in Lewisburg. Said they would never go anywhere else for the type of services that they needed there. Said the doctor had been a doctor for like 14 years, and the nurse had been there like 20 some years. So they felt really good in their care. And I've told y'all before, I go to Lewisburg to the hospital here at Mariah Parham and have services there whenever I need outpatient types of things and test run. And I've always gotten professional care. So if y'all know, if you need professional care or hospital care, you can always go to Lewisburg, and it's right here at home. You don't have to go all the way to Raleigh or wherever else you're going to go. So I just wanted to reiterate that and to tell you about the experience of somebody calling me and just praising the care that they got. So, okay. County manager.
Appreciate it. I wanted to give an update real quick, follow up on the request the commissioners had last meeting regarding Bunsert. We did meet with them last month, had a good conversation, went over expectations on both sides, had some requests of Bunsert that we wanted to follow up on. We've since gathered some of that information. We do have a follow-up meeting scheduled with Emergency Communications to go over the radios and some other logistics. But that is moving forward. I know there's a request to bring that, but we are working through that and had a good conversation, gathering some financials that would need to be discussed and working through what that MOU would look like. So I'm hoping to bring that to you in March. So I just wanted to follow up on that. Wanted to thank staff for the planning, all the contingency plans we put in place for the last couple of weeks on the ice and snowstorm we've had the last few weeks. A lot of things were planning for. Luckily, a lot of that didn't happen. Happy to see that not many lost power, and we were able to weather that storm. So thank you to all of our staff for making that happen. A lot went into that. A lot of partners, a lot of public safety partners making that happen. So thank you for that. And then I'll thank you for reminding me about that. The employee recognition event went over great. I think we had some 70 people who were recognized, and I couldn't tell you how many people were in attendance. Happy to see everybody. A lot of service to the county. Some retiring, but a lot of people serving, so it's good to see. Thank you to HR for putting that on, all of the manager staff for making that happen. So thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Is that it? Okay. Now, we're going to go to item number 6, which is closed session. The board is asked to enter in closed session in pursuit of the following North Carolina general statutes. NCGS 143-318.11A3 attorney-client privilege communication. NCGS 143-318.11A4 industry and economic development. NCGS 143-318.11A5 real property purchase contracts and leases. Do I have a motion that we go into closed session at this time?
So move.
Second.
And all approve, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone oppose?
No.
Motion carries.
I did it late.
Do it again, though. You get to do it again. Hey. Hey, I got your letter too, right? Good timing. Yep.
closed session.
Second.
So move. Hey,
All approve?
double move. Yeah.
Say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?